take it anymore. And so yoga was my escape. I joined a teacher training just because I was like, I need to do something with my time that isn't drinking, isn't partying, isn't damaging myself. And that became a years-long love affair that really changed the trajectory of my life.
Hi, my name is Mariko Pitts, the core synergist of the Holo movement. Pleasure to be with you all. Simply put, my passion and purpose in this life is really to embody more love on the planet. In this episode, we are featuring Amanda Huggins, an incredible anxiety and empowerment coach who has escaped, so to speak, the hustle and bustle of life in the tech industry and really went into a deep spiritual practice and really launched her journey through yoga.
I consider purpose to be split into two things. I think that every single human being, myself included, has one very large and very important purpose, which is to recognize who you are and to live a happy life within that information, right? So a lot of us are trying to bust out of our DNA, our desires. We're trying to make ourselves into something else. And so I think if we really simplify purpose, it's to love the life that you are living and make it as big and beautiful as possible. And what happens when we adopt that as our individual purposes is we take care of ourselves. We then have more energy, more time, more resources to then take care of those around us, right? So it goes from personal to planetary when we adopt this individual purpose of, I gotta take care of me. I deserve to take care of me. So I take that on as purpose number one, right? But then if we are thinking about the purpose beyond self, I just want to help people feel better. I want to help them work on their stuff so they can live from their soul. And everyone's going to need something slightly different. So in terms of execution, the way I offer that is courses and books. And if you need more of the clinical, logical stuff, I'll give you some of that information. If you connect more with deep healing and energy work, we can do that too. I want to meet people where they're at so that they can just feel better and be happy. You know, it was so funny because when I went to college, I thought I was going to be a lawyer because I like talking and I'm great at proving a point if I really need to. But I quickly learned that I have no interest in becoming a lawyer. And so I just chose classes that were interesting and fell into psychology and communications. I don't remember anything from communications, but I do remember my psychology classes. But even that, I didn't touch any of that information for almost a decade. It really was being brought up in the hustle culture of New York City and LA and feeling all of this external pressure to be someone other than I was, to want to be in a different time or place. And I just got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore. And so yoga was my escape. I joined a teacher training just because I was like, I need to do something with my time that isn't drinking, isn't partying, isn't damaging myself. And that became a years-long love affair that really changed the trajectory of my life. It was through yoga that I recognized while teaching classes that there was information that I was sharing that was not coming from me. And, now we understand that as channeling, but I felt kind of put into the atmosphere with no strings attached. And so I realized hey, I need to get some training. I need to really understand what it means and looks like to facilitate. And so it was, as I became a teacher of yoga, I was like, all right, let's figure out how we bring the rest of this stuff that's hanging out in your psyche. How do we do? Because coaching, spirituality, healing, even yoga, these are unregulated industries. And so it's really important to me that people feel that they are supported and that they can trust that the investment of their time and their finances, that it's going to a place that's actually going to give them a return. Yeah, so that it was a very long and strange journey. And I sometimes pinch myself that I'm in a place like this, right? It's how did that happen? How? Divine guidance. So living your purpose certainly has an effect on yourself and others. And I think the obvious answer is when you're in purpose, you tend to generate more flow in your life. And I say tend to because I like to be hyper transparent. I think this wellness world, we can get a little bit aspirational. And it's like, when you're on purpose, you're in flow all the time. No, you'll fall out of flow. You'll still have hard days. The shift is that when you are on purpose, there's almost this cord or this pilot light inside that reminds you like, hey, it's still going to be okay. And so from that, that general flow state, you do attract people into your life that are soul friendships, soul partners, business partners, right? You get to work with wonderful people. The other side of this, which is the shadow side, and it is still beautiful, is as you move more into purpose and alignment, things that are not in alignment will fall out of your life, right? Like, so you might lose friends. You might, I call them Kali moments, right? Kali, the Hindu goddess she's the great destroyer. You might have a Kali year or two. If we look to astrology, it's called the Saturn return. There are these deep periods of time where anything inauthentic gets stripped away. That is a part of the journey towards purpose, is the inauthentic, the things that no longer resonate, they will fall away. That is beautiful when that happens. It is painful, but it is beautiful. And I think for those who this might resonate with, or they're at the beginning of that journey, it's important to remember it doesn't stay like that forever. It gets better. And there will be a time when you look back on the great shedding with so much joy and gratitude. So for people who are kind of struggling to figure out what their purpose is, and I understand that there's this like push-pull, this discomfort, even anger some days, because like, why can't I figure it out? Find that the purpose is quite simple. It may just be being and sharing your light with the world, but let's say that is your purpose. If you're in this attachment to needing to find it, there's no space to even be in the light that is you. So I like to tell people, release the attachment to whatever you think you should be doing right now and figure out how to create joy in the now. When I say that to people, what often comes up, and this breaks my heart and I also understand it. A lot of people will say, I don't know what makes me happy. Work makes me happy. Okay, who are you without work? Who are you without the attached relationship? And so the journey towards happiness or towards purpose uncomfortable questions may come up. Lean into those questions and be gentle with yourself in that discovery process, because at the end of the day, it's all good. It's all good. You are safe. You've done nothing wrong. You are loved. You're actually on your way and you're further along than you think you are. I promise.